Hey, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is a spooky reading vlog. Hello, it's October, the spooky season, and my TBR for this month is horror slash thrillers, because I wanted to do a spooky month of reading. It is currently Friday the 13th. Oh my god, I didn't realize that. It's Friday the 13th of October. What great timing. And I haven't read a single book this month. So my reading has been pretty shit lately. So I thought I would film a vlog to, you know, get me moving a little bit. So I'm hoping to read a couple of horror-y kind of books in this vlog. I do have some thrillers on my TBR this month, but I kind of want to keep this spooky as I can. So yeah, it's currently Friday. Cheers to Friday. Cracking open a Billson's to celebrate. Oh, hell yeah. Having a Billson's passion fruit. Emily put me onto these from Books by Emily, and these are so good. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. So it's currently Friday. I have no plans for the weekend, which is great. And yeah, I just want to do some reading. So I thought I would start this vlog off. Is this like way too close to my face? Whatever. Let's start this off with something not as intimidating. So I thought maybe I'd do like a middle grade horror to start this vlog off, because I'm a scaredy cat. So this book was recommended by Ash from Ash's Adventures in Books. This is by Katherine Ardern, the author of The Bear and the Nightingale, and I loved that book. I just love the cover of this book. It's really cool. So this is about Ollie, I think, a kid called Ollie. And he finds, he's 11, he finds a weeping woman by the river, threatening to go throw like a book into the river. And I think Ollie then takes the book and like yeets and runs away. And Ollie begins to read the book, and she finds herself entranced by a creepy tale called Small Spaces. Set on a farm hundreds of years earlier, it's about a girl and two boys who loved her and a peculiar deal struck with the Smiling Man, a sinister spectre who grants your most tightly held wish only for the ultimate price. And then he's on a school trip the next day. I just changed their gender. She is on a school trip the next day to a local farm with a haunting history. She discovers that the farm is not only run by the woman whose book she stole, but also the graves of the very people she's been reading about. And then on the way home, the bus breaks down, forcing Ollie's teacher to return to the farm for help, leaving the students alone with this weird driver. The driver warns the class that someone or something will soon come for them. Ollie receives a chilling message on her digital wristwatch, which has been broken for months. The watch suddenly spells out run, and night descends and scarecrows in the surrounding fields seem to crowd closer, watching them. Ollie thinks the watch might be right. Joined by two of her classmates, she takes to the woods with one last word of advice from the bus driver ringing in her ears. Avoid large paces at night. Keep to the small. How cool does this sound? This like is a middle grade, but it sounds really scary. I love the image of the Smiling Man on the cover. Like, that's terrifying. I love this cover. It's sick. Anyway, I'm gonna have a drink and start my book. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I could honestly get this read this weekend because, like, look how massive the text is. And it's only 216 pages. So I might set a goal for myself to at least get this read this weekend. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy my drink and enjoy my book. Okay, I'll update you soon. Hey, it's 9:20 at night. It is Tuesday the 17th of October. And in the last update, I was like, I'm gonna read so much on the weekend. No, it didn't happen. Yeah, surprise, surprise, it didn't happen. But that's okay. I have done some reading, so hell yeah. I'm still working my way through Small Spaces by Katherine Ardern. I feel like at this rate it's going to take me the whole month just to read this book, but that's okay. Yeah, so Small Spaces. I'm now on page 68, so pretty good, even though the pages are like that. I'm still counting this as quite a big win. I have read 68 pages of a book, so I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, I think I told you what this was about in the last update. So yeah, I'm 68 pages in. Where I'm up to, we haven't really like gotten to the spooky part of this book yet. We've just kind of been setting up the backstory of the spookiness. So we've met our main character Ollie. We're getting bits and pieces about her family life and a tragedy that's happened in her life, and kind of the aftermath and how that's affecting her now. I really like our main character Ollie. She is a incredibly smart girl, really good at maths and science, and she loves reading, and I really like how the book is in her perspective, and she's always got her head in a book, and it describes really well that feeling of being like fully absorbed in a book, that you just like have no awareness of your surroundings, just that feeling of getting completely pulled into a book. So I feel like that's really described well of her character, and Ollie has a really huge imagination, probably because of all her reading, and the way that it's described, her imagining different things happening and her big imagination, I just really love. And like I said before, this is the same author as The Bear and the Nightingale, so one of the reasons I loved that book so much was because of the writing style, and I'm really loving the writing style of this book as well. Obviously it's not as descriptive and complicated as her adult book, but I still find the writing in this book quite beautiful as well, and I love the descriptions of the weather and the setting. So yeah, I really like how this book is set out as well. You are in modern day with Ollie, and you're also seeing the little excerpts and little sections of the book that she stole from the like crazy lady. And you're reading little bits of that at a time. So little by little you're uncovering the kind of lore and history behind this farm that they go to. Did I tell you that they go to a farm? Yeah. So they've just arrived at the farm where I'm up to, so I feel like I've just left off before the action's kind of got to start. But that's all I've got to say about this so far. I'm really liking it so far. I think it's really cute. The writing's beautiful. I love Ollie as a character. For a middle grade, she's a really like a character with a lot of depth, and yeah, really impressed so far. Even though like, you know, I'm like what 60 pages in, and it's a short book, even though no action has really started, I'm so intrigued just because of the little snippets they've been giving us about the history of this place. It's got me so intrigued, so I'm really liking that. And it's just, I think, perfect for what my brain needs at the moment with the lack of reading. Just simple, easy to follow, middle grade storyline. So yeah, I think I definitely did the right thing in picking this book up. So I sadly probably, because it's almost 9:30, won't get any more of this read tonight, but that's okay. Hopefully I'll read some more tomorrow night. I always say I'm going to read in my work breaks, and then I get to my break and I'm just like, I just want to turn my brain off and watch TikToks in my break. So yeah. Hey, it is now Sunday the 22nd of October. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I have an actual update for you guys. I'm so proud of myself. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like the reading slump is slowly getting defeated. I don't know, I don't want to speak too soon, but like, I have a significant reading update for you, and that makes me honestly just so bloody happy. So last I think I saw you, I don't even know what day I did the update. Might have been earlier this week. I can't even remember. Anyway, last I saw you, I think I'd read about 60 pages of Small Spaces. And I've now completed this book. Yay! I completed a book on the 22nd of October. The first book I've completed this month. So, yeah, it's Sunday, but it's technically my Saturday today because At my new job, I do like 6 days, 4 days, 6 days, 4 days, 6 days, 4 days, because I work at a library, as you guys probably know, and the library is open 7 days a week, so you got to be willing and understanding that your work roster has to span across those 7 days. So 1 week, like this week, I'll do Monday to Saturday, and then I will have Sunday, Monday off, and then I'll do Tuesday to Friday, and then have a whole weekend off, if that makes sense. I mean, my shift yesterday was only 3.5 hours, and the first half an hour is setting up while the library's closed, so I don't even really count that half an hour because it goes like that. Anyway, so today is like technically my Saturday, and I haven't I wanted to film a video as well today, but I'm glad that I didn't do that and I just focused on reading, because like, wow. Anyway, so I sat down this morning and just finished this whole book around lunchtime, I think it was I finished. I think I'm gonna rate this 4 stars, maybe even 4.5. I just, in my mind, I can't give it 5 stars because it's not like perfect 5-star, but I ended up really loving this book. I think the last I saw you and the last I updated you, they had just kind of gotten to the farm, and holy crap, this is only like a 216 page book, but once you hit that 60 page mark, it is so fast paced, so fun, super spooky. I loved this book. I actually cried at the ending. Like, I started crying because it was really sweet ending. I don't know if that's a real spoiler, but it was a sweet ending. It is a middle grade, so you know it's not going to end with everyone dead. But yeah, I loved this book. I loved the fast-paced action. I loved I mean, I need to read more middle grades, I think, because I just absolutely adore the messages in middle grades. This messages of this book was, well, I interpreted it as, don't judge people based on what you see. Judge people. People are not, that's not the right way to put it. People are not always what they seem, and you need to take time to get to know people before judging them or making assumptions about how they appear to you. This book was also about grief, and it was really beautiful, and the power of friendship, and people are not always like their stereotype. Anyway, yeah, it was really sweet, and it was about a really brave girl dealing with great loss in her life, and how she used her love of stories as kind of a form of escapism, but it was also about an incredibly strong, intelligent female main character who was a really loving person, who was just so brave and so wonderful, and I loved the main character, Ollie. I love her. She's now like one of my favorite characters. I love her so much, and I love her little friendships in this book, and I love her willingness to, I guess, open herself up again to friendship and connections in her life despite what she's lost and who she's lost, and I just thought that was really beautiful. And the whole like backstory around the horror kind of side of this book is also so good. The fact that she like finds a book and the book starts reflecting reality is so clever. The kind of scarecrow villains were terrifying, and I just loved this book. I'm obsessed. It was really fun, quick read. It took me ages to read, but if my reading mood was better, I probably could have finished this all in one day. As soon as I picked this up today, I just devoured it. I couldn't put it down. Yeah, super creepy with a kind of open-ended ending where the villain was defeated but not gone. So I know that this is a series. I don't know how the rest of the series works. I don't know if it's like different villains, different characters. I'm not 100% sure. But this book was scary, and I was scared for the characters, and I cried at the ending, and it was just, yeah. It's a good horror book. I loved this book so much, and I think it was perfect to start off with a scary book, but a middle grade scary book. So had a beautiful message. It was super scary but fun and fast paced, and I love this book. So I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars because wow, this was really, really good. Catherine Ardern's writing is mwah, beautiful, and she's a great middle grade author and a great adult author. So I love this. I will 100% be continuing on with the series. I need to go reserve, actually see if which one of my library branches has the next book in this series, because yes, I need it in my life. Yeah, so I finished this book. First book I finished in October. So I finished that earlier around lunchtime, and then at 2ish, Emily from Books by Emily started some sprints she's starting prep for NaNoWriMo. Is that how you say it? NaNoWriMo? I don't know. The reading challenge that everyone does. Not reading, writing challenge. So yeah. So I finished that book, and then I've started my next book. Okay, so we're going from a scary but wholesome middle grade to a serial killer book. So we're jumping up the scariness. Just bear with me while I try and explain this book, because I don't know how to try and explain this without sounding super dumb, so please bear with me. So I think I heard about this book, Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar. I think I heard about this book off Gem's channel. And she's like a horror goddess, like she loves horror. Anyway, yeah, I heard her talking about this book and I was like, that sounds really cool. So I don't know how to describe this book. This book is apparently what's known as a genre called metafiction. And I'm just going to read the definition. Metafiction is defined as a form of fiction that emphasizes its own narrative structure in a way that continually reminds the audience that they are reading a fictional work. So, Richard Chizmar, the author, is the main character in this book. And how do I describe this? Like, I can't describe it, so hard. You're reading this book as if you're reading the character's book. So the character Richard Chizmar in the book is a young, I think he's like a young 20-something-year-old. He's a recently graduated college, and he returns to his small hometown where a girl has just been murdered, and a lot of girls are going missing, and the town police believe a serial killer is in this town. And Richard starts writing a book about his experiences living in this town while these murders are going on. And yeah, and then he doesn't realize that these events will continue to haunt him for years to come. So yeah, they believe there's a serial killer, but some people in the town are starting to think that whoever is killing these girls is like not human. It's something potentially supernatural. Anyway, yeah, so you're reading the book as if though you're reading Richard Chizmar's book that he's writing. So apparently the author, the actual person, the real life person, it's an actual homage to the actual hometown that he lived in and his passion for true crime. But the whole serial killer thing is a complete work of fiction. So yeah, so it's really clever. It's like you're reading the character's book. So like it's set up like with a little fake content page. You got a little foreword by another author and an introduction. So I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it's like you're reading the main character's book that is written. So it's like a first-hand experience. So I've read 46 pages of this today. Yes, I'm on fire. Yeah, so what I've read so far, without spoiling, is where I'm up to, the first girl has just been murdered. And Richard has just come home from college a couple of days after this happens, and he's starting to talk to anyone and everyone, his old friends, neighbors. It's like one of these small towns where like everyone kind of knows everyone about what happened. And also what's been said so far in the book, they've just kind of set up context of the town, which is, it's like good because it's like you're reading an actual true crime book. Like, you know, when they say talk about the small town or the town where the murder happened, it's like you're watching like a true crime documentary. So they've gone back and given a bit of history about the town, and you have learned a lot about Richard's childhood. So it's just kind of going in chronological order. And now where I've gotten up to, I believe, is like now, like at the first murder. So yes. So far I'm really intrigued. I thought I would start to get maybe a little bit bored, and I thought maybe the history side would be a little bit dry, but it was not too long. It was a perfect amount of context about the town, and I feel like that's going to, I don't know, it just adds depth to the book now that I know the context of the town and his childhood and what this town's like. The kind of breakdown of the, I don't know, how the outsiders view the town, the financial situation of the town, and what's the, you know, average income, and yeah, stuff like that that just adds all this depth to the town, and I guess the town as a character. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. So I didn't find that boring or dry at all. I feel like it didn't go on too long. It was just the perfect amount where I wasn't like, okay, like I don't need to know all of this. Yeah, so it was condensed really well. Yeah. So yeah, I've read 46 pages of this, which I cannot believe. So yeah, today I've read 46 pages of Chasing the Boogeyman and finished Small Spaces. So I'm pretty proud of that. So I read 155 pages of that plus 46. So I've read about 201 pages today, which is so good. I mean, the pages of this book are like this, so like it was pretty easy to fly through. But I mean, 46 pages of this book, and like the text is quite small. So yeah. I'm really happy with that. That's exactly what I wanted to do today, just read, and I feel like it's been great and I'm like back in a reading mood. So I'm really proud of myself, and yeah, let the spookiness continue. I will update you soon about more of my thoughts of this book when I've read more. Hey, it's time for another update. It's actually the very next day. It is Monday the 23rd of October. It's about 2:45. I'm currently hosting some reading sprints on my channel, and my reading continues to be amazing. So I told you yesterday I finished The Small Spaces, and I forgot the title, and then I was starting Chasing the Boogeyman. I ended up reading 100 pages yesterday, so I think I updated you at page like 46. So yeah, I got up to 100 pages last night, and then I've read another 50 pages so far today, so I'm on page 150 of this book. I wanted to spend the whole weekend reading, and I did, and I'm just so happy. So yeah, I'm on page 150 of this book. I'm loving it. I feel like currently it's sitting at a 4-star. This book is really like really about Richard's like experiences moving back to this town, and it feels, yeah, it does feel very autobiographical, and I thought that would start to annoy me a little bit, that it's more focused on him than the like serial killer, but like the writing's so good that I just don't seem to mind, and I feel like it's quite a unique like, what am I trying to say? A unique perspective, because instead of watching it from the perspective of outsiders like you would, because it does kind of feel like watching a true crime documentary, which, you know, I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of unique because you're in with the character who's living through it, and you're seeing the implications for the town, like the town's kind of mindset and how it's making every person in this town feel unsafe and paranoid. So yeah, you really see Richard's state of mind throughout this, and how, despite being quite fascinated by true crime and crime writing, he is really scared, and how, you know, how scared everyone is because there is just no indication of who this killer could be. And like, I don't think it's something supernatural. I don't think it is. But I think it's more that, yeah, these people are probably so paranoid and so scared that they're just not thinking rationally if they were to think that it's you know, an actual boogeyman or something like supernatural happening. I think it is a human doing these killings, and I think they're just scared and paranoid and looking for any form of explanation. So yeah, I'm really loving it. The writing's really good. We've kind of had a chapter for each victim, and I've just read the chapter of the third victim. And it's really sad because, like, he talks about how he knows these people and the small connections and seeing these people of the family members of the victims around town. So yeah, it's really good, and it's still kind of creepy because even though the serial killer is not, like, we're not talking about it every page with new clues and new information, we're getting little snippets of Richard, like, feeling like he is being watched by this, like, serial killer, and the way they describe how he feels in these moments, like when you have, like, those moments where, like, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and that paranoia and that fear. So that's described really well, and yeah, it makes you think, like, if you were living in a small town and someone was killing your neighbors, like, how you would feel. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. I'm loving it. Apparently the ending is so satisfying, and I can't wait to know who's doing this. I really want to know who is doing it. I feel like it's probably someone I've already been introduced to, and that makes me even more scared because, like, what if it's someone I know, and, like, what if it's a character I like? But yeah, this is fantastic writing, like, absolutely fantastic. And On Sprints Eliza just said that she gave this 4 stars, so yeah. I'm hoping to get to 200 pages today. Like I said, I just started sprints. We're in the first sprint. So I'm going to go back to reading this. But yeah, that's my update. Hi, it's the next day. It's Tuesday the 24th. It's about 7:30 at night, and I have an update. Guess who finished this book last night? I've lost my goddamn mind these last couple of days. I finished this book. Oh my gosh, I was, like, just hoping to get to maybe like 150 pages, but then I went crazy and I literally hosted reading sprints all day and finished this book. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give this a 4.5 stars just because of how quickly I flew through this book. And yesterday I did a sprint where I was like, I'm just going to take a break from reading, and then the next sprint I was, like, back into it. Like, I absolutely ate this up. I flew through it. I don't normally read books that quickly, but I was just so intrigued by it and so desperate for any little tidbit of information, because the pace was slower, that I didn't even care about the pace. Like, that didn't bother me. Normally it would. That I was just, like, flying through it because I just had to have little snippets of information that they teased, and it was so good. I flew through it. The reveal was just, like, I did not see that coming at all. I was completely shook by who the killer was. And the last bit of this book was so sad because there was a time jump, and just, like, because they'd spent so much time writing about their early 20s and all the people in this town, you really feel like you got to know the town and the people in the town, and just, like, the time jump meant that so many people had died just because of, you know, life, and that was really sad. And the whole reveal around the killer was so sad. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy how it all worked. All the little connections were just so satisfying, and there was a really cool snippet at the end, like an interview with the killer, and that was really, really, really cool because it felt like a Criminal Minds kind of esque episode where they're, like, interviewing the killer. So that was really cool. So yeah, I can't say that I've ever read anything like this before. I thought the premise was so cool and so unique, and reading something different so paid off. I loved the autobiographical kind of bits in this book about the author's, you know, life growing up in this town and his early 20s, and, you know, the work he put into doing what he was passionate about for a living. I thought the writing was so good. I would totally normally not read something like that, but then putting in little bits and snippets of this serial killer, the way he wrote it, you just felt that tension of the town, and it was just so well written, so good. The reveal was so satisfying. It was so fun. It was like watching a true crime documentary, Criminal Minds episode kind of mixed into one. It was really interesting, and the author said that it is based off an actual person from August 1986 until the early months of 1990. Someone entered the houses of at least 25 Edgewood, Maryland properties and touched women's feet, legs, stomachs, and hair while they were sleeping, and called the Phantom Fondler, and that's what the serial killer in this book was roughly inspired by. So yeah, I found that was really cool. Not, you know what I mean, like, that's disgusting and terrifying and creepy, but this whole book is sick. And it's really scary, and I had to watch Bob's Burgers after I finished this because I was very much scared. So yeah, 4.5 stars. This book is so good. If you like horror, read this book. It's so good. So good. The writing, the story, the concept, amazing. So yeah, that's Chasing the Boogeyman. So that's my second book for this vlog done. And yeah, feeling accomplished. I don't think I'll get any reading done tonight, just because I need to make a thumbnail and I need to wash my hair. So I just don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm going to take a couple of days off from reading horror. Not that I haven't been really enjoying it, because the last two books I have absolutely loved, but I just think I need to break it up a little bit. So you guys aren't going to see it, but I'm going to take a couple of day break, I think, and read another genre, and then I will jump back into it. So I don't know what I'm reading next, so I will tell you that in the next clip. So yeah. Hey, welcome back to another update. We're in bed for this one. Listen, it's Thursday night, alright? I'm reaching the end of my limit with this week. So hi, it's Thursday the 26th, it's about 7:30 at night, and I thought I'd give you like a little update. I don't have heaps to say, but I am going to try and start my new book tonight. So I've had 2 attempts at starting the 3rd book for this vlog. Yesterday in my break I tried picking up the audiobook for the book, what's it called? Oh, Stolen Tongues. So I started the audiobook of Stolen Tongues, written by Felix Blackwell. This is kind of like a cabin horror, a romantic cabin getaway gone wrong. Listen, I listened to the first chapter, and I don't know if it was the narrator, if it was a combination of the narrator and the writing that I just really didn't vibe with. I found the first chapter, I just found the dialogue a bit cringy, and I was just like, I'm really not feeling this. So I've given up on that for now. And then today in my break, I tried starting What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And I read the first couple of pages and I was like, wow, the writing is beautiful. I see why this author is so popular, but I just don't think it's for me. I can appreciate the writing, I really can. It was beautiful and so descriptive, and like, wow, you can tell they're a fantastic author, but I don't think I'm the right audience for that book, sadly. Which makes me sad, because I really did want to give it a hot shot, but I mean, let's not ruin the flow of my reading by forcing that book. So my next and third attempt, I'm gonna try a YA. You know why? Because in this vlog, I read a middle grade, I've read a adult, so it's time to read a YA. So my third attempt will be The Woods Are Watching by Stephanie Perkins. I wanted to read her other book, There's Someone in Your House, or whatever it's called, but that wasn't available at the library, so this one was. This one's like set in the woods. Best friends Nina and Josie spent high school as outsiders, but at least they had each other. Now with university and a 2,000-mile separation looming on the horizon, they have one last chance to be together, a 3-day hike deep into the woods. A detour off trail leads them straight into a waking nightmare, and then into something far worse, something that will test them in horrifying ways. I think there's like a serial killer lurking in the woods in this, but I feel like YA is what I need at the end of the week, and it's super short. So this is going to be attempt number 3. Who knows if this is going to be the one to take or not, but I will keep trying horror books until one takes. So I'm going to get cozy and I'm going to try and read some of this tonight. So I'll see you when I've read some of this, or maybe another book, who knows at this point. Hey, it's now Monday the 30th October, it's about 7 p.m. I've had a little bit of a reading slump since I last saw you, but that's okay, that's life. I did start a book this morning though, shock horror, and that is The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. This is not the book I super wanted to read by Stephanie Perkins. I wanted to read her other one, There's Someone in Your House, but this was the only one at my library on Friday when I was like panicking trying to find something to read over the weekend, so that I didn't end up reading over the weekend. But anyway, yeah, so this is the only one available, so I thought I would give it a go anyway. So this one is about two best friends, and they've just finished high school and they're about to be separated because one's going off to university. And as a kind of last hurrah before they're separated for a long time, they decide to go for a 3-day hike in the woods. And they just go on this trail, and then they have like an accidental detour off the trail, and they kind of walk into what the book describes as a waking nightmare. I think there's like a serial killer out there watching them. So this morning before work I read 50 pages, which was so good of me to do. And so far, like 50 pages into a book that's only like 218 pages, I'm like not super impressed. I'm not really loving this book. I know I haven't really hit the scary part yet, or the serial killer part yet, but his characters are just like really whiny, and their problems are very high school, and maybe I'm just too old to be reading about this kind of stuff, but it's really boring. The characters are really annoying me, and I just wish they would shut up. So not great impressions of this so far. Maybe I'll have a complete 360 when the actual scary part starts, but the first 50 pages have been quite a slog this morning because like nothing's happening and I'm bored. And yeah, I don't know. I might eat my words and be like, oh my god, it was super scary once I got through those first 50 pages, but I don't know. I can't see my view changing drastically. Maybe the characters will grow on me once they face this, you know, work together to escape a serial killer. I don't know. I'm gonna read some more now, so I'll update you soon. Alright, hi, welcome to another bed update. So it's now, it's now 10 to 9, and I feel like I could potentially finish this tonight. I'm on page 137 actually. So I've read like a significant chunk since I last updated you at like what, 7? I mean, like my thoughts about this book haven't changed significantly. This is just a quick update. I don't know, man. It's not great. Like, I'm so disappointed by this book. This is so not what I needed after a reading slump, honestly. It's gotten to the kind of scary bit. To call this horror, I don't know, maybe this last bit will blow me away, but we've had our kind of turning point. And I mean, I like that they've separated the girls because I think like that keeps it a little bit interesting from their different perspectives, but I don't know, it's not that, like, it's not that scary. there's a lot of just like fluff writing that like I'm like, why is this here? I feel like we're just trying to up the word count a little bit here. Just like a lot of descriptions that I feel like are unnecessary at this point of the book. I don't know, I just like, I can't say a good thing about this book, honestly. It's not spooky, it's not good. I hate the main characters, like I don't feel sympathy for them. Either I'm a sociopath or like they've just written characters that you can't connect with. Okay, I'm gonna try and finish this book now, but I feel like this is such a disappointing note to end this vlog on, because like a 4.5, a 4.5, and then this. Has anyone read her other one, There's Someone Inside Your House? Because I've been hearing so many people talk about that book. Is that book really good? Like, did this book come out before it? When is this book from? 2021. I don't know. It's giving me nothing. Hi. Okay, it is now 10:17 and I have finished this goddamn book. I'm gonna be so tired tomorrow, and it wasn't even worth it. Like, I'll be tired and it won't even be because of a good book. It'll be because of a shit book, which will just make me even more annoyed that I was tired. Oh my god, this book sucked. Oh, the reveal was not worth it. That ending was so shit. It was so stupid. Felt like the ending of like it felt like a scene out of like a scary movie. It was, oh my god, it was so bad. That ending was shit. It turned really quite disgusting and effed up in the end. I was quite uncomfortable. How is this a young adult, by the way? Like, this is not a young, like, this shouldn't have been mentioned so clearly in a young adult book. I don't think. The ending was like a comedy scene. Like, it was not meant to be comedic. It was so fucking bad. And I'm like in shock with how shit this book was. This was bad. I get what they were trying to do with the fucked up part of this book. Like, I get that they were trying to bring awareness with women's safety and all of that kind of stuff, and yeah, just crimes against women and I guess how often they happen and how it's something that is in the back of every woman's mind about their safety. And I kind of get what they were trying to do. I just don't think it was done well. And I think that ending was so bad. Holy shit. Like, oh, there could have been so many better, like, so many different ways I could have ended. Well, I can think of one way that it could have just been so much better, so much more satisfying, less dumb. It was a dumb ending. That was the dumbest ending of a book ever, like. So I'm like, I wanted to rate it 2 stars because I was like comparing it to like books I rated 1 star. I'm like, well, it wasn't as shit as that. But like, that ending? That was so fucking stupid. Oh. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, you know. Like, I need someone to have read this book so I can talk about it with them and just rant, because this is obviously non-spoilery, but I don't think I've ever read a dumber ending to a book in my whole life, honestly. So I think I'm going to give this 1.5 stars because like, it's not as bad as the 1-star book I read earlier this year, but the ending does not deserve 2 stars. This book does not deserve 2 stars. So I recommend no one read this book. There wasn't really a redeeming quality about it. the mystery, like the whole serial killer side sucked, and wasn't here for majority of the book. The characters sucked, and I was like not really actively rooting for them to survive. I was like, oh, I'll take it either way. The ending turned really fucked up with kind of no notice or warning, and trigger warning. If you read this book, please, for the love of God, look up the trigger warnings, because it just comes out of nowhere. And I just don't think some of the discussions were appropriate for a young adult book. Maybe some of the terminology wasn't appropriate for a young adult book. Like, obviously young adult women should be aware of the risks and their safety when it comes to stuff like this, but I just don't think this was appropriate for a young adult. Like, to me, it's like two girls trying to survive in the woods. Like, why are we bringing that into it in a young adult book where there could be, you know, like 12-year-old girls and boys reading this book? That, yeah, 1.5 stars. What a waste of my goddamn time. What a shit book to end the month on. What a shit book to end this vlog on. But overall, majority a good experience this vlog. I read 3 books. I read In the Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. By the way, I think this whole time I've been calling her Katherine Ardern, but I think it's Katherine Arden. I feel like a silly little goose now. So Katherine Arden, which was a super fun, spooky middle grade horror with a incredibly well written female main character who I loved. And then I read Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar, which 4.5 stars as well. So good, so spooky, but also like a biography about the actual author's childhood that I loved, and like the writing was so good that I loved reading about that, and like mixing in his actual childhood with this fake serial killer and just reading about the effect that it had on the town, and kind of how it made the people in the town feel and change, and the paranoia. It was just like so good. So good, and it was like watching a true crime documentary, so that was really fun. 4.5 stars to that. I think I'll definitely read more Richard Chizmar. I saw he's written a book with Stephen King, so I think I'll be checking that one out, and I'll definitely be continuing on with the Small Spaces series. And then obviously just finished off with The Woods Are Watching by Stephanie Perkins. 2.5? No, 1.5 stars. 1.5 stars. Shit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I read some horror and I put on my big girl boots and I read some spooky books, and it definitely paid off. It was really, really fun. I will definitely continue to explore more of the horror genre. Let me know in the comments below, have you read any of the books that I talked about in this vlog? Do you think I rated them fairly? What spooky books did you read in October? Thank you so much for watching. All my social media links are in the description below, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!